Hi, this is the day 3 question. What changes in my understanding of myself if my inner world is not separate from, but continuous with, my environment? What changes in my understanding of myself if my inner world is not separate from, but continuous with, my environment? Okay, I'll be right back. And this one is interesting. I just had to pause to contemplate that a moment. And no matter where, I thought my head was gonna, it was on its way to take me somewhere with this, it kept coming back to this. I hear people talk about their experience with non-duality and how when you apparently break down all separation within you, you do feel continuous with your environment. There is no separation with anything. And I've only been able to experience that feeling. It's like an inner felt sense there's no words that can possibly describe it. To do it justice, you could try. And it's not a steady thing for me, but I've tapped into it a few times where it's like, whoa. So in those moments, what changes in my understanding of myself, it's almost like that becomes irrelevant. There is no self to understand. That's one thing that I feel is true. When we are no longer subject object, like the environment being the object and us the subject. So my understanding of myself would be I'm no longer the subject. Everything is just, I don't even know if I'd call it objects. Everything is the subject. I don't know. Everything's the object. Those words don't mean anything at that point. If my inner world, my experience of being is now continuous with everything else that I've up to this point been separate from, meaning I'm looking out at these objects in my environment and I see them separate from me. But if that experience goes away, that separate experience of being separate, then what changes in my understanding of myself? God, it feels like, so I've heard people use the word intimate, and that feels true for those moments I've experienced that, where everything just feels like utterly alive and vibrant. And inanimate objects, they feel alive. It feels like I am that thing and that thing is me, and there's no separation, and there is no thing and me. It's like the same thing. It is so hard to talk about, but my understanding of myself totally changes if I feel continuous with my environment, meaning there's no separation at all. Everything feels alive, and it feels like a sense of the ego has been humbled. It has been quieted, subdued, almost like brought into balance. But even that those don't feel like the right words. Humbled feels really good, that word, in the sense that the ego always thinking it is separate from, elevated above in a lot of ways, knowing it knows so much. Its perspective is the only perspective, and it is correct. It just feels like all of that goes away. And so the self even goes away. It's been humbled in a very beautiful way. And it's like, oh God. So what I'm trying to get back to is what changes in my understanding of myself if my experience of myself is no longer separate. Everything changes. So my understanding of myself is I am no longer this separate viewpoint that's projecting out into the world. It's like I am the world is me. I am in the world is in me. That's something we say in Qigong practice. And then I forget the third thing. The world and I are one. So it reminds me of that. It's this, I might as well stop recording this answer because the words don't do it justice. But basically every understanding of myself changes because I become something different. I become a not I. I become one with everything. And I would just love, that's the ego talking, I would just love to figure out how to be in that all the time. You know, that understanding, because that word intimate feels so right. It's just like, there's no separation. I am in that thing is in me. I am it is me. There's this, how do you describe it? There's no description. But it is such a wonderful feeling. And why is it wonderful? Why? It feels like there's some fundamental truth that says, okay, humans, you are imbued, whatever, with an ego so that you can feel separate your whole life, so that you can learn what it's like to transcend that at some point and not feel separate anymore, because that's the greatest gift ever. So it's like, I want that gift all the time. And how? And I think what, in those moments where I felt it, it's come after a deepening, softening, whatever, of examining the unexamined. Like to loosen the grip of like dysfunctional stuff within me. You might call it shadow work. You might call it inner child healing. You could call it whatever you want. Words are just words. We all mean different things by them. But it feels like those moments have come after those deep loosenings of dysfunctions within me. And so I think that's why I just can't stop doing the work. It's like, how could I do more faster? But it's like, that's the ego trap. Like, oh, I got to get somewhere. I got to feel that thing. I got to have a peak experience. Well, luckily that's not my driver, but at sometimes it was my driver, because I was like, I want more of that. And that's a common trap, like to have a peak experience. And then it's like chasing it, but it's like, how? And so now I'm trying not to chase it, but I still enjoy doing the work. And if that happens, if that non-separate, non-duality thing happens some more, I would love it. It just feels, and I don't even know if I felt the ultimate feeling of it, because that's a comparative thing and we're all so different. All I know is that I felt oneness with inanimate objects without psychedelics. I do have to clarify that. And it's very intimate. It's very humbling. It's all love. It just feels like love, like the purest sense of the word, love. So I think what changes in my understanding of myself, maybe I finally got there, it means it changes it in a way that says, I am nothing else but love. Like, that's all there is. There's no more self. There's no more like the ego self. There's no more, there's nothing wrong with me at all, because there's only love. Love can hold everything. Love is unity and oneness because it holds everything as equal and of equal value. There's no judgment that one thing is more elevated than another, like the ego likes to think it is with its correct viewpoint. So, okay, I think that's it. And that's a beautiful one if that's where I ended up. But part of me, the ego part of me says, I want more of that. Yeah, yes, please.